Timecode NOLA, the New Orleans Independent Film Program.
Well, you know, I met Ed Holla because we were both at the same events. And a lot of times these were places where there was no other media. You know, the mainstream national media sent down people who didn't know a damn thing about New Orleans. So even me being from the West Coast, I had a relative advantage because I'd lived here before the storm. But I would say by and large, people were a little lost and a lot of the journalists were a little lost and clueless. And I was lucky to have some leads to end up in some places. I remember down at the lower Ninth Ward homeowners meetings that had been organized, and State Representative Charmaine Marchand was facilitating them in this church in the Bywater on St. Claude. And amazing things were being discussed, amazing things were going on. You know, the situation of the lower Ninth Ward and the struggle of people to come back, of course, is a tremendous national story. And Ed was there every time with his camera filming and getting amazing stuff. Ed has an archive of footage that is just incredible, and some of this has made it into films like Cut Off, which he did with Broderick Webb, which was amazing, and which I sort of advised him on. You know, I worked a little bit with him on that one. Yeah, he just always seemed to be in the places where the real story was going on. Some of the larger outlets and some of the mainstream media just didn't get around to where there were really pressing things going on after the storm. So I knew Ed as somebody Ed has an amazing work ethic, and he's very gung-ho about getting to where the story is and really finding out what's going on. I mean, we shot, for the human cost, we shot for days to make that 7 minutes. And every day it was like, are we gonna go get some food yet? Because we've been out here shooting for like 5 hours straight and talking to people. But with the stories that we had and with where we were, you know, we had to grab it while it was there. You know, while we just felt very lucky to be in touch with these people who had these amazing stories and really in a situation that the rest of the country needs to know about and doesn't. What's going on in South Louisiana, the environmental catastrophe, is really an unparalleled scale, and it's really tragic that the rest of the nation is not more aware of this. The importance of it is to try to bring some awareness to this catastrophe, which ultimately affects all of us in the United States who are dependent upon the oil and gas infrastructure down here, and also it affects the cultural diversity of this country. I mean, it took me a while living in New Orleans to even be aware that there were Native Americans living in South Louisiana, because the situation is so different than out west, where I grew up, where a lot of the natives are on reservations, where it's sort of this separate existence. Here, because you've had the intermixing of Cajuns and other folks living down the bayou and Native Americans for a long time, it's really a separate, it's a different kind of situation, and the fact that we have these amazing cultures down there completely flies under the radar unless you know that's there and unless you know to look for it. And I think that one of the things that's in danger in South Louisiana with the loss of the coast is the loss of these cultures and this diversity that we have.
This one right here, this was my dream, my wish, and it didn't come true. So I'm taking it back. I'm taking them all back! Goonies never say die!